like the big one for a long time was David Benavidez and Canelo. Like everybody wants to see that fight, and they just can't figure out a way to make it happen. And you got to think someone's avoiding somebody, and it's not Benavidez.
No, not at all. You know, I just think Canelo, in a sense, he know how big Benavidez is gonna come in the ring. You know, Benavidez is a great fighter, you know, but he's a big fighter. He's a tall fighter, you know, and I just think Canelo knows, like, why would I want to get in the ring with this guy that's going to be massive come fight time?
If it was up to me, like we keep on saying, we want to see Benavidez. Canelo, hell of a fighter. But my personal opinion, he's ducking Benavidez.
For years, boxing fans have been calling for a fight between Canelo Alvarez and David Benavidez. But now, Joe Rogan and Terence Crawford believe they understand the reason why this matchup has still not taken place.
I'm not that big of a guy at all. I've been doing all this with my skills because Canelo's not a big guy. He's been fighting big guys his whole career.
Yeah.
You know, and beating them with skill. You know, so you gotta tip your hat off to Canelo and what he's accomplished.
Absolutely.
Being 5'7", going up to 175 and fighting these big guys and actually winning and
knocked out Kovalev.
Yeah.
I mean, it was Kovalev later in his career,
Yeah.
but he's still Kovalev.
For sure.
And then having the courage to fight Bivol in his prime.
For sure.
I think that's the fight that probably kept us from getting the Benavidez fight, the Bivol fight, because I think after that fight, it's like, oh.
According to them, the biggest issue is the massive difference in size. And after his defeat against Bivol, Canelo may have realized that Benavidez could be a challenge that is simply too much for him.
This is a little big, because Bivol, not just big, but he's got that Russian style, light on the feet, in and out, in and out, in and out.
Good boxer.
It's a difficult style to handle, you know. And the only guy to beat Beterbiev was another beast.
Yeah, so I think, you know, him knowing that, and then I think the disrespect that he got from Benavidez had persuaded him to go elsewhere. But, you know, there's been many boxers from the past that didn't fight people that they wanted to fight.
Right.
You know, look at Sugar Ray Leonard and Aaron Pryor.
For Benavidez, Canelo remains the biggest rivalry he wants. He believes Crawford took away the fight he had always wanted the most, creating a missed opportunity that he still regrets.
Is Canelo that for you?
Yeah, 100%. So it's always like, you know, like always in boxing or whatever sport it is, everybody always has their arch nemesis, you know what I mean? So Canelo he's my arch nemesis basically, and yeah, well, that's exactly how it'd be. It'd be an unfortunate moment that never happened in boxing, but you know, if it doesn't happen, there's really nothing I can do about them.
Did Crawford take a little bit away from it for you?
Yeah, he took a lot away from it, you know, because at the time that Crawford beat him, you know, Canelo was basically looking invincible, you know what I mean? So if I could have got in there, you know, beat Canelo, then it would have, you know, it would have been more of an impact.
Yeah.
You know?
The Mexican monster has doubts about Canelo after Terence Crawford completely dominated him in a championship fight, raising questions about his ability to compete at the highest level.
Now that Crawford came in and beat him, now it's like you don't know what Canelo's going to show up. If it's going to be an extremely prepared Canelo, or it's going to be a Canelo that doesn't really seem like he's hungry.
Yeah, he's going to come in.
Yeah.
As for Canelo, his decision to avoid Benavidez is viewed as being connected to financial demands, waiting for a huge offer that could finally make the fight happen.
Because maybe you've reached a different level in your career because you have fought, you know, the tough that you have been doing that, or is that still the same desire for fights in the future?
No, you know, I always everybody, and I have legendary fights, you know, Coro, Golovkin, but they bring me something to the table. So they bring me legacy to the table. So I mean, I'm talking about that, you know. And I know you guys always wanna put, if I beat Benavidez, you wanna put other fighter there. And like I say, if the money is right in that special fight, I mean, because, you know, he don't bring me legacy, he don't bring me anything.
The situation sparks a brutal rant from Tim Bradley, who urges Canelo Alvarez to be a man and step up to face Benavidez without any further delay.
You just gotta be a man, right? If you got another man coming to your house, coming in your sport, whatever you want to call it, bro, and he's calling your name, he's doing the same thing you doing, he fighting, and you the guy, you the cash cow, you the face of boxing, and you don't answer that call, bro, that says something about you, man. You know what I'm saying? You supposed to stand up. You supposed to say, oh, really? Oh, you think you better than me? Okay. He has proven himself enough. But Benavidez, man, Benavidez is disrespecting him. He's telling him to grow some balls. He's doing all of that, bro.
Meanwhile, Jose Benavidez Sr. has grown tired of discussing Canelo Alvarez, insisting there is no legacy angle being offered by Benavidez that should keep the fight alive. He dismisses the ongoing discussion as nothing more than weak excuses and believes the narrative has already run its course. As a result, the Benavidez side is now focused on moving forward, targeting bigger opportunities, and making it clear that a fight with Canelo no longer holds the same interest at this stage.
I'm not excited about that fight. That's their problem, that's their thing. You know, I'm focused about David Benavidez and the career of David Benavidez. We waited for Canelo for 5 years. We wanted to fight him. He said he wanted to fight the best. He excuses after excuses, you know, we can make it at 175 if he wants to. I'm not interested, and I really don't want to talk about Canelo, to be honest. We're doing our own thing, and, you know, but I'm not excited about that fight.
As Terence Crawford believes Canelo Alvarez may be avoiding David Benavidez because of the size difference, a strong warning also comes from Demetrius Andrade, who has shared his own experience facing Benavidez. Andrade urges Canelo to stay away from the fight, emphasizing how dangerous Benavidez can be at super middleweight. He explains that even elite skill and movement are not always enough because David's pressure, powerful punches, and physical advantages make him a nightmare matchup at 168, especially for smaller opponents like Canelo.
Yeah, I don't think Canelo's beating David. I don't blame him not to fight David. Canelo, stay away from David. Don't do it. Let me get out of it with that. Don't do it. Listen, I'm taller and longer than Canelo. And like, I don't know if Canelo can. That's a big boy, man. I don't care. The skills is, you gotta really have the right skill set, movement, IQ, sharpness to like beat David. Unless David just fights the next biggest man in the 75.
He continues by explaining how difficult the fight would be at super middleweight, saying Benavidez's size, reach, and punch volume create constant problems. Andrade admits that even when he found moments of success, controlling David was never easy. He believes Canelo being the smaller fighter adds another layer of difficulty. And unless everything is perfect with timing, IQ, and movement, Benavidez can become overwhelming. In his view, David's relentless style and ability to keep pushing forward make him a threat that Canelo may struggle to handle.
It's going to be a different story, but at 168, that's how you have to be to beat him. Canelo's smaller than me, and I was able to push David around a few rounds, do what I had to do, whatever, but that weight and his length, and he knows how to throw like punches and bunches, it's going to be a hard task for Canelo. And then David's not somebody that's going to let up on you either. Canelo's not beating him.
With growing demand for the fight to happen, Floyd Mayweather enters the debate, saying that in his view, it is clear Canelo is avoiding Benavidez. He makes it clear this is his personal opinion, but insists he has the right to speak openly about the situation. Floyd believes fans want to see Benavidez tested at the highest level and feels this is the matchup everyone has been waiting for, urging that the fight should finally be made.
If it was up to me, like we keep on saying, we want to see Benavidez. Canelo, hell of a fighter, but my personal opinion, he's ducking Benavidez.
While pressure continues to grow around Canelo Alvarez, the spotlight also turns toward Benavidez as Max Kellerman shares his thoughts. He praises Benavidez for his ambition, calling him a fighter who consistently backs up his words and proves himself inside the ring. Kellerman highlights his improvement as he moves up in weight, explaining that avoiding extreme weight cuts is helping him become stronger. However, he also warns that demanding legacy fights comes with the responsibility of accepting the biggest challenges available in boxing.
I love Benavidez. I love the fact that he talks the talk and he's walked the walk so far by and large. He wants to fight everyone. He puts on a show. His skills, as he goes up in weight and he doesn't have to kill himself to make weight as much, you see him getting better and better. I love Benavidez. But guys, you cannot run around talking about legacy and how Canelo ducked you, and there's a fight available with a killer at 75 in Beterbiev and an excellent young fighter in Opataya at 200 pounds. And you're the one, if it's true, by the way, I'd love to hear Benavidez's side of the story.
He further explains that while much of the discussion remains focused on Canelo, there are major fights available elsewhere that cannot be overlooked. He points toward champions and top contenders at higher weights who could create defining matchups, suggesting those opportunities are also an important part of the bigger picture. Kellerman also brings up the other side of the argument, noting that some people believe Benavidez has not chased certain elite fights. He makes it clear that he is willing to hear Benavidez's response before reaching a final conclusion on the situation.
And by the way, guys, Bivol is the champion at 75 now. But the two best action fights maybe that could be made in boxing at 75 is Benavidez Beterbiev. At 200 pounds is Benavidez Opataya. And he's the one that's turned down those fights. At least that's the other side of the story. I look forward to hearing what Benavidez might say about that.
Responding to claims that Benavidez avoided challenges, Jose Benavidez Sr. makes his position very clear, insisting they are not afraid of anyone and have never avoided any fighter. He explains that the team has always tried to prove themselves in the ring by pursuing the biggest fights available. He points to past situations involving top names, saying they attempted to make major bouts happen, but were forced to face other opponents when negotiations failed, always with the goal of proving themselves at the highest level.
We're not scared of nobody, man. We're not ducking nobody. We've proven ourselves. We keep proving ourselves. And the fights, and I'll tell you right now, the fights that we won is Bivol, Beterbiev, Opataya, you know. But let me start with Bivol. We wanted to make that fight before we fought Anthony Yarde. He didn't want to fight. He gave us the belt. That's not the way that we wanted to get the belt. We wanted to fight. Then we went to Beterbiev, and we wanted to make that fight. He didn't want to fight. So that's why we fought Anthony Yarde, you know. And now, after David's performance, he called out Bivol. And that's the fight that we want to make. You know, those are the fights that we want to make.
He continues by addressing recent claims about offers during negotiations, especially regarding better opportunities that were allegedly available. Jose Sr. rejects those claims, stating that no legitimate offer was ever received or accepted in the way it has been portrayed publicly. He calls on the decision makers and teams involved to come together and finally make the biggest fights happen. In his view, these are the matchups the sport needs, and he insists the focus should remain on delivering them without creating false narratives about missed opportunities.
Beterbiev now saying that he gave us an offer or whatever, and that we didn't take.
Send him an offer.
That
he accepted it.
That we did not accept that, or something like that. But you know, right now, if Beterbiev is watching, their managers are watching, whoever makes that decision, you know, I'm David's a father, trainer, manager. Let's sit down. Let's make those fights happen. Those are the fights that we want to make. But don't come out here and say that we got an offer. We never got an offer.
With new fight options emerging, the Canelo Alvarez and David Benavidez clash appears to be moving further away, with many believing it is no longer a realistic matchup, while the debate continues over whether Canelo has avoided him or not. Andre Ward shares his perspective alongside Roy Jones Jr. Ward explains that calling it a duck depends on personal opinion, especially after seeing Canelo support Jamie Munguia from ringside. He suggests Canelo may have made a long-term stylistic decision, even if others view the situation differently.
Now, if you call that a duck, you call that being scared, you know, that's your business. Canelo Alvarez was in the building supporting his stablemate, Jaime Munguia, and I guess Benavidez just had to do it. He had to mention Canelo. He feels a way that Canelo hasn't fought him throughout the years. He's been calling for Canelo for many, many years. It's hard to say that a man who's put in as many professional rounds as Canelo Alvarez is scared of another man. But I do think that Canelo Alvarez has made a very conscious decision throughout the years to avoid Benavidez from a stylistic standpoint. Now, if you call that a duck, you call that being scared, you know, that's your...
Ward continues by explaining that from a strategic and business perspective, Canelo may have simply decided that the risk was not necessary for his career path. He acknowledges that Benavidez clearly feels ignored and frustrated after years of pushing for the fight. However, he also believes the matchup has lost its momentum and is unlikely to happen now, especially with Benavidez moving up in weight. In his opinion, the main focus has shifted toward the major fights that can realistically be made next in the division.
Strategically, he made that business decision to say, I don't need to be in the ring with this dude. And Benavidez feels a certain type of way about that. So I think he just had to get that off his chest after putting on the performance that he just put on with Ramirez. But that's not a fight that's going to happen.
No, it's not. It shouldn't happen.
Especially with Benavidez going up in weight. But the question is what is going to happen?
Whether this fight ever happens or not, it has already created a lasting impact on Canelo Alvarez's legacy, with many people still questioning why the matchup with David Benavidez never took place. Edgar Berlanga also criticizes Canelo, accusing him of avoiding the fight. He reacts strongly to recent interviews, saying some statements only make the situation look worse and create more questions than answers, especially when both fighters are competing in the same division at similar weight levels.
And you soft. Deep down inside in that little heart, you soft. I just seen a thing he said, an interview. I was like, nah, this dude's crazy. He just put out an interview saying that he's a good fighter, he's a dangerous fighter, he's big, he comes over 20 pounds. I'm like, yo, bro, you just made yourself look like the biggest in boxing. Cause now I'm thinking about it, right? I'm like, wait, I'm like, nah, he's probably not even scared of him. But now, after seeing an interview that he did the other day, and he said, no, he's a great fighter, he's dangerous, he's big, he comes over 20 pounds. Like, he's the same weight as you at 168, so what does it matter?
He continues his criticism by questioning the reasoning behind the excuses being made about weight differences, arguing that both fighters compete in the same division and should have equal opportunities. In his view, if both men are fighting at super middleweight, then the size argument loses its importance. He suggests that continuing to use those points only weakens the argument further, and he expresses frustration over how the situation has unfolded in the public eye.
On Friday on 168, what does it matter? He jumps up 15, 20 pounds. You jump up the same weight, bro. So what's the difference here? It's now he's super.
That concludes the heated debate surrounding Canelo Alvarez and David Benavidez, with legends, analysts, and fighters all divided over what truly happened behind the scenes. But the biggest question remains, was this a smart career decision or a missed legacy fight that boxing fans may never get to witness? Share your thoughts in the comments and let us know where you stand on this debate. And if you want more boxing breakdowns like this, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned because the next major story is always around the corner.